WWE 2K25 is paying excellent tribute to the Bloodline, even if other changes feel mostly slight. Fresh off watching this year's WWE Royal Rumble match, it'd be fair to say that I headed into my WWE 2K25 preview session more hyped than ever to see what changes developer Visual Concepts have in store this year. Ever since 2K skipped out WWE 2K21 to refocus and polish, the franchise has given us wrestling fans more of what we want, with the return of quirkier modes and a full-fledged campaign offering more reminiscent of the WWE Smackdown vs. Raw Golden Era. Improvements and additions are again incremental here, but after 3 hours of playing, I'm excited to explore WWE 2K25 fully at launch. Of course, one of 2K25's big additions this year is the return of intergender matches, and although it feels a little bit silly to fist pump the air for a change that would have been incredibly easy for 2K to implement, one imagines, it's still exciting to now be able to pit these two titanic rosters together. My preview build gave me access to a small selection of women's wrestlers, including Mammy herself, Rhea Ripley, and so I promptly got to work going toe-to-toe with Jey Uso as part of a backstage brawl. Watching them duke it out was undoubtedly a thrill, and it's nice to see WWE believe in its talent so much that there's seemingly no restriction on what kind of modes intergender matches can be used in. At one point, I constructed a 10-person Royal Rumble, for instance, starting off as Natalya, where I successfully eliminated The Rock. Gameplay itself is where changes in WWE 2K25 are the most incremental. I say this because it's still the case that two face buttons are used to let you dish out light and heavy attacks as desired, while the B and/or circle button is reserved for initiating grabs. It's a simple control scheme that might appear basic on the surface, but in reality makes the in-game WWE experience easy for newcomers to understand, with an additional degree of risk and complexity coming into play when you realise the importance of countering. The system can still lead to frustrating scenarios where I'm hammering buttons in the hopes of my wrestler getting up quicker, yet even this can be combated through the use of quick recoveries should your meter be filled to the appropriate level. The actual act of wrestling appears mostly the same then, aside from the new ability to dive into the barricades. One thing the WWE 2K games always do well is putting you in control of elements you usually wouldn't be able to as a humble viewer. Even more so now by being able to pit, say, Liv Morgan against LA Knight in a one-on-one title match. However, Visual Concepts has taken this a touch further this year thanks to the new entrance camera controls. Whereas before, I'd have a habit of skipping these sequences after watching them once to get to the meat of the action, the ability to now change from multiple angles and even switch to a third-person view makes these glamorous match entrances even more of an event than they already were. I can finally gain a semblance of what it must be like for these superstars as they walk towards the ring and feel just a fraction of the buzz they likely do. It's definitely a simple addition, but one that's still effective and cool. The other main element of WWE 2K25 I was given access to in my preview build was this year's showcase mode. Whereas previous years have taken to highlighting the career highlights of Rey Mysterio, failed matches of John Cena, and some of WrestleMania's most iconic matches most recently, I can already tell that 2025's version promises to be pretty unique. Named the Bloodline's Dynasty, the subject of the showcase mode this time around is focused on letting you influence, change, or relive some of the best matches surrounding one of wrestling's most iconic families. This works great for variety since it means you get to span rosters as well as decades. One showcase match I played, for example, was Nia Jax vs Lyra Valkyria in the final match of 2024's Queen of the Ring tournament. As a fan who's wanted to see Jax do more with the Bloodline story for some time, it's good to at least see her paid respect to in this way here. Seth Rollins vs Roman Reigns at 2022's Royal Rumble was equally awesome to play out, if only as a way to change the outcome of the real-life disqualification result. As well as reliving events, however, Showcase looks to be stepping up great matches long-time wrestling fans have dreamt of. In this case, the Wild Samoans against who else but the Dudley Boys. One element I was sad to see seemingly dropped from Showcase matches is the way that your recreated movesets would cleanly transition to actual TV footage from the event. In all three I got to try, this was nowhere to be seen, which made sense for the Wild Samoans make-believe tag team match, but lacked from the two others. Sure, previous 2K games had a habit of lingering on these moments just a bit too long, but I don't think the solution was to rid showcase matches of them entirely. Luckily, a far more successful addition to the Bloodline's Dynasty showcase are the pre-match 2-camera segments hosted by the wise man Paul Heyman. Having such a big, charming character commit fully to these segments promises to make this year's showcase a real treat, as he brings his charismatic gravitas to the context leading into these matches. I particularly liked his hesitance to even want to discuss the Roman Reigns Royal Rumble match, to the point that he took to looking away from the camera and addressing the off-screen producers. Heyman's commitment to kayfabe is one of the best things about his presence in WWE in my opinion, and it's good to see this successfully maintained in 2K25. Although I got to play for a chunky 3 hours, I still feel like there's so much left to see in WWE 2K25, and that's a great feeling, because while fundamental gameplay changes might only be incremental, new additions like improved camera control for entrances and intergender matches, something that WWE itself seems hesitant to do, should give this year's entry a new flavour. Sadly, I was told by 2K representatives that they'll be sharing more about the Island, 2K25's version of a quest-driven campaign, at a later date. It's still unknown just how game-changing such a mode could be, but I'm excited to find out when WWE 2K25 launches extremely soon on March 14th. What are your thoughts about this year's entry? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and consider subscribing to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.